Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our Talks with Walt, as we are calling our readings through the deathbed edition of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. We turn now to a little poem called City of Ships. This is poem number 8 of the 43 of drum taps, and scholars have sometimes divided up, as we said in an earlier lecture, these different poems of drum taps, with the first 8 or so being a set of introductory kind of, yay, let's get ready to go to fight in this war kind of poems, and this will be the last of those in some regards, all right? Now I want to remind you what we've said already. From an earlier poem, To the Old Cause, Whitman said, my book and the war are one, and we're always coming back to that line in each one of the 43 poems of drum taps to see, in fact, how it is true. Now the assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Talks with Walt, our playlist. And we've given lectures from everything from inscriptions up through an introductory set of comments for drum taps, and then we just finished with Virginia the West. Now, as we turn to our Nortons here for a brief comment, we'll just simply read that this poem was always in drum taps under this title and without revision. So that makes it a fascinating study that he didn't really want to do much editing. We're going to pay attention to this as another New York or Manhattan tribute poem. It'll take us back to poems like Brooklyn Ferry and other poems we've already studied. It runs like this: City of Ships. By the way, the word city is going to get used 12 times in this poem, and we will have 12 exclamation points, so there's a lot of enthusiasm that's going to happen here. And then the word O will begin 6 times. This word O gets used here. Notice, City of Ships, exclamation point, and then in parenthetics, oh, the black ships, oh, the fierce ships. You'll maybe remember this from Black Ships, the Year of Meteors. You'll remember proud black ships. And then Banner at Daybreak will also have that idea of the black ships. And then later we're going to see the same construction in Splendid Silent Sun. The fierce ships will take us to I Sing the Body Electric, passage 5, with the use of fierce, so you can run that one to ground. Oh, he says, the beautiful sharp-bowed steam ships and sail ships. Notice the repetition of the word ships. The idea of movement, the idea of sailing, we've seen this, and we'll study it again when we get to Passage in India. City of the world, making the argument, Whitman did this, that New York was kind of like the hub of the wheeled universe, to use the language of Song of Myself 48. That is to say, all of the world somehow rotates and revolves around the great city of New York. For all races are here. We're going to hear more about this with Passage to India. All the lands of the earth make contributions here. City of the sea, city of hurried and glittering tides. We can speak obviously literally or metaphorically. City whose gleeful tides continually rush or recede. I think that rush or recede is a key concept to all of Leaves of Grass, that evolutionary view. Whirling in and out with eddies and foam. You'll remember this use of the word eddies in Song of Myself, passage 2. City of wharves and stores. Then we're going to get 7 dashes. City of tall facades of marble and iron. Go back to Brooklyn Ferry, crossing Brooklyn Ferry for some of the references here and echoes here. Proud and passionate city. Meddlesome, mad, extravagant city. Spring up, O city. Now we've seen this in all these early poems, this idea of rising or rising up or springing up. And here we'll see it again. Spring up, O city, not for peace alone, but be indeed yourself warlike. We're going to come back to this with War, Red War here in a little bit. Fear not, which seems a bit hyperbolic, given obviously that there's all kinds of fear and trepidation at the beginning of a contest like the 4 years of the Civil War. Submit to no models but your own, O city. Can a city be Promethean? Certainly Whitman's going to argue as much. Behold me. And then this idea of I see you, you see me takes us back to Brooklyn Ferry again. Behold me. Incarnate me as I have incarnated you. Now this is the only use of this incarnated word here in all of Leaves of Grass, and obviously it can be read by especially readers of Whitman's day as blasphemous, dare we say it, with the incarnation obviously of Christ as being fundamental to Christian theology. Behold me, incarnate me as I have incarnated you. I have rejected nothing you offered me. Whom you adopted, I have adopted. Good or bad, I never question you. I love all, and by the way, I love all construction happens one and only one time in All Leaves of Grass. It's right here. I do not condemn anything. Now, obviously, there's going to be some questions about this given what we're going to read in Drum Taps and the condemnation of any number of things like killing each other. I chant and celebrate all that is yours. I told you the word all was such an important word in Leaves of Grass. Yet, peace no more. Only time that construction gets used in Leaves of Grass. But peace no more. In peace, I chanted peace. But now the drum of war is mine. War, red war, the only construction time of red war. War, red war is my song through your streets, O city. By the way, the drum of war is only used one time in All Leaves of Grass, and it'll happen right here with the drum of war is mine. By the way, when we think about this thing of cities, go back to look at what we said with Song of Myself, passage 48. I see letters of God dropped in the street, and I leave them where they are. It's interesting to follow this use of song through your streets, and then finally, O city. Again, we're going to see this with Splendid Sun here later in Drum Taps. Well, what are we going to do with a poem like this at 2A in Messages? Well, I think one of the clear messages here is that in time of peace or war, the city always will matter, especially for Whitman. And he will see the city then as a personification of the people and of himself as well. I think this is one of the many reasons why Whitman's Leaves of Grass was so popular right after the tragedies of 9/11, especially in New York City. So many people wanted to turn back to this great poem, collection of poems of the city. Speaking of the city at 2B, city is used 12 times, exclamation point used 12 times, the word O comes back for 6 times, and the dash is 7. All of that repetition of both words and punctuation marks I think really matters here to construct this poem, this celebratory poem. And yet it is also a poem that is lamentable, because so much tragedy is going to come to New York City through the 4 years of the Civil War. At 3A, I will simply point to you Carl Sandburg's classic, Chicago, as a great tribute poem of a city. I've given a full lecture on it at learnstrong.net. You can go and look at that. What is your favorite tribute to a city? It may be a song, maybe a rap song, maybe another kind of song. I mean, there's of course the famous line about New York, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere, and it's obviously been used in several different songs. What's for you your favorite city tribute song or poem? And then finally at 3B, what is your favorite city and why? And do you think that cities have personalities? We often have commented on this since Whitman, that he wants to claim that the city of New York has a personality type, and he imbibes it. He incarnates it as it has incarnated him. What are your thoughts about that? Now from cities, we will move into our next section of poems in Drum Taps. From cities, we go to stories, and the Centenarian story, which is one of the more remarkable poems of Leaves of Grass. Thank you.